Well, sentencing will begin this morning for the Highland Park parade shooter, wrapping up a years-long court case for one of the worst mass shootings in state history. Robert Crimo III killed 7 people and hurt dozens of others on the 4th of July in 2022. And as we await this hearing to start, we're going to bring in our political analyst, Irv Miller. Irv, thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning.
Hi. So we know that Crimo changed his plea to guilty just last month before the trial opening statements were really even set to begin. So now survivors will finally be able to share their victim impact statements. Can you walk us through that process and who we may hear from?
I think you're going to hear from families of the 7 people who were actually murdered, and also you're going to hear the actual testimony of some of the 48 people that were shot but survived, because the judge wants to hear what they have to say about their mental and physical health, how it's changed their lives. Are you able to work? Are you able to communicate with people? Did it affect everything about you? And it's part of every sentencing process these days. So this is nothing unusual. It happens all the time. You could have many of them, and some may just want to supply written testimony as opposed to, verbally getting in front of the judge. And maybe Crimo, he may or may not be in the courtroom for all of this.
And that's what I was just thinking about. We'll talk about sentencing outcomes potential soon, but these victims may come and give their statements, but he may not be there to listen. But is there a chance that the judge could say, no, you need to bring him in?
That's a very interesting question. And lawyers, we like to talk about things like that. What power does the judge have to do that?
Yeah.
She may say to the sheriffs, I want you to bring him into the courtroom. And if you have to use force to do it, you do that. I'm not sure that she's the type of judge that would do that. But it could happen. Because they really want him to be in the courtroom. That is, the victims want him to be there and hear what they have to say. So that's kind of up in the air.
Okay.
And let's talk about the length of this process, because we very well may not hear a decision from the judge today.
Correct.
Because of how long this may take.
Well, what's interesting, though, the ultimate decision is not in question.
Right.
And that is what number of years he's going to be sentenced to. He's going to be sentenced to the rest of his life in prison without any chance of parole. The only other interesting thing that may happen today is he has a constitutional right to address the court before she imposes sentence. And what, if anything, he may want to say? Is he going to say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me? Or is he going to do what he's done all along, and that is basically be a jerk, to use a legal term? And so we'll kind of wait to see that. I would suspect that, just like at the jury selection, I think he's going to want to spend most of his time in the lockup and not come out and not even address the judge. So, but that's his choice.
All right, Irv Miller, thank you so much for joining us. We'll touch base with you in the next hour to dig in a little bit more to what today could entail.